Promoting health is supposed to be something all of us do in the medical field. But many times we actually, I feel, don't do it. Why? I would venture liability. So let me explain what I mean. So let me give you an example from my own life first. So my grandpa lived to be past 100. He was still quite healthy at 102 because he went to Vietnam and went to my wedding, which is amazing for a man 102. He didn't even fly business class or anything like that. And actually, I made a mistake one time. I booked this like B&B. I thought it was cute, treehouse name, blah, blah, blah. I didn't realize on the 3rd floor, so he had to climb up 3 flights of stairs. So yeah, I guess he was pretty healthy. But he started declining. But the thing is, my dad kept him going for a long time because he would force him to walk and exercise. And it's dangerous. Because if he didn't walk and exercise, he wouldn't have fallen. Because if you're not up, you sort of can't fall, right? He's fallen off the wheelchair. It's because the dad feels the need to get him outside, push him around. And one time they went off a curb and he had no seatbelt, so my dad put a seatbelt. And another time it's because he has a walker, and I guess it was some design my dad bought off Amazon. It's made in China, from China. And it actually is imbalanced. So when he sat on it, he tipped over. So he hit his head. So that wasn't a good thing. But the thing is, because my dad kept him physically active, he was physically active for longer. That's logical, right? We know if you're old or even young, right? You're in bed for a while, you get deconditioned, and soon enough, not going to be able to do much, right? I mean, if you're old. But the thing is, how good do we want our patients to be? Because I work in a hospital, and many times our patients in the hospital don't walk, right? I was talking to my friend. Many times our patients come in the hospital for just a few days. They're like, oh, no, you're going to need to go to a nursing home for some rehab. Why? Well, because they were literally not doing anything in the hospital. Nurses are afraid of them falling. They set a bed alarm, so it alarms and everybody rushes in. Oh, no, sir, please sit down, right? And then they push a button to get the nurse to come get them, and the nurse is too busy to come walk them. Just a simple walk. Oh, no, I have real things to do, right? And then, so they just lay in bed for 2, 3, 4 days. By the time we're working on the medical stuff, when time we're done, they're too weak to go on home, where they were living before, independently. And it's okay, right? Because it's all money, right? In the system. We want to encourage those nursing homes, give them some money, right? But the real issue I find is pushing people. I was in a clinic the other day, and I saw this lady, maybe 50s, 60s, obese, and she was using a cane, and she was huffing, puffing. She had just walked across the bridge from one building to another. I said, yeah, she's probably a little bit tired. She's not used to that much activity normally. And there's a staff member who rushed over and said, oh, are you okay? Okay. Here, take a seat, please. Get some rest, right? What do you need, right? And then the person goes, oh, she's diaphoretic. She's dyspneic, tachypnic. Makes it sound like so bad, right? I don't think she was having a heart attack. I think she just wasn't used to that much physical activity. Exercise, if we'll call it. I mean, if I ran a mile, I would be in the same condition. Except people would say, because I look relatively healthy, that just suck it up, right? It's just running. But nobody's going to tell her that. And that's the thing, we don't push our patients in the hospital, right? It's dangerous, right? They say, this is not the right time. Well, then, when is the right time? Who's going to push them in life? You think they're going to go to a nursing home, they're going to push them? They're absolutely not. They're even more afraid of liability than we are, right? Nursing home has been cited for putting people in wheelchairs with seatbelts on because they don't want them to fall, right? And they're like, that's actually called restraints. Don't do that, right? In the hospital, right, we don't usually do that because we have enough staff. Nursing homes have much less staffing. But the thing is, this is all not good for the body, right? I don't think anybody disagrees. But the main issue is liability, right? Nobody wants this lady to have a heart attack. I agree, right? But on a counterpart, right? If you have the risk of a heart attack, that's really small, versus the chance of her getting better, right? Would you want to pursue that? Well, let's look at it this way. What's the benefit to the doctor, the nurse, the staff, if the lady gets better? Because she keeps on doing this every day. I mean, nothing for them, right? What is the risk if she has a heart attack on your watch? Oh, don't want that to happen, right? So why not just let her be, help her out, don't let her do physically too much, and she'll go off and maybe she'll exercise someday, right? She'll lose some weight, right? It's like it doesn't work that way, right? If we don't start it here in the hospital, you think somebody's going to continue it. There's no continuation. If we don't start in a hospital, you think somebody's going to start outside? Like, who would that be? Their primary doctor is probably not even going to see them because they're too busy with all their other patients. They don't have time for the follow-up visit in 1 week, right? Primary doctor also doesn't have time to work out exercise regimen. Who's going to monitor them? They have cardiac rehab, pulmonary rehab. You think this lady qualifies? You think they're going to say, yeah, you're a great candidate, right? I mean, the problem is when you don't physically do much, it's going to be hard getting there. It's going to be risky. Might be even some falls involved. Who wants to take this obligation and risk, right? I mean, pool therapy is great. I agree. Everybody should get pool therapy. Good for your joints. Doesn't have the stress, right? So who has a private pool? Who's going to come accompany them when they're in the pool? It just doesn't work out. Most people can't afford it. They don't have the access. So I ask you again, what are we looking for? We're looking for just keeping people in bed, letting them live longer, treating them medically, but physically they're not going to get any better. They're not going to lose weight. They're not going to get stronger. Or do we actually want people to get better? Because that involves real risk, and that's liability to most people. But we baby them, right? Unfortunately, they're not like babies who just improve with age. The elderly, like Grandpa, if you don't keep pushing them, they're going to decline. We all know that. We've all seen that. And yet here we are, still doing the same thing. Babying them and magically hoping they get stronger and better somewhere, somehow, that is not here.